which was spoken by Joel the prophet, that in the last days your old men shall do what? Your young men shall. So in other words, but the key thing is that Peter says, and he quoted Joel, that what was taking place on the day of Pentecost was prophesied by Joel, and he said it was the last days. Now, brothers and sisters, we know that that's been 2,000 years ago, approximately. You with me? And today, the scholars say Peter made a mistake in quoting Joel. Did you know that? Now, I don't think Peter made a mistake. If anyone was ever speaking under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, they were speaking under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit on the day of Pentecost. So if Peter applies the day of Pentecost, what was taking place to the last days, I believe, brothers and sisters, it was the last days. What we need to do, we need to start looking at things as God looks at it. It is a provable fact that God has laid out a means by which we can comprehend what's going on. He has made it plain to us, saints, that in his way of counting, that a day represents 1,000 years. He's made it plain. In other words, brothers and sisters, this is no metaphor. When you go to 2 Peter, he makes it very plain. He said, God is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but he is long-suffering, that all should come to the knowledge of the truth. And then he started talking about the second coming of Jesus. He said, for we all know that the second coming of Jesus will be as a what? Thief in the night. Now let me ask you a question. When does the coming of Jesus appear as a thief in the night? You talk to me. Let me ask you this, let me make it plain, because we want to study this week. Is it at the second coming that is as a thief in the night, or is it at the third coming? At the second coming, Jesus will come as a thief in the night to those who are not in tune with prophecy. In that very text, he says, for a day is as 1,000 years with the Lord. Then he quotes Jesus coming as a thief in the night. Then he says, in which the heavens will burn up. When does the heaven burn up? Third coming. So right there in one verse, he says that a day is as 1,000 years with the Lord. He quotes the second coming, and then in the same verse, he quotes the third coming. How much time is between the second coming and the third coming? 1,000 years. So, brothers and sisters, that tells me that on the day of Pentecost, how many days were left before Jesus was going to come? 2 days. If someone told you you had 2 days to live, would that be a short time? The Bible even says that when at 31 AD, that Satan recognized that he had but a short time. It means he recognized that he had but 2 days left, brothers and sisters. Now let's deal with this for a minute. That means, brothers and sisters, that 41 years would only be an hour in God's county. 41 of our years would represent about 1 hour in the way God counts time. Now, God is not a man of time in that particular respect, but because of you and I, because of what sin has come, now God has to deal with time. Now, you follow me, saints? I'm making sure you follow me. 41 years of our time would represent about 1 hour with the Lord. 24 hours of our time would equate out to about 1,000 years. You follow me? The newscaster says that Katrina and Rita and all these storms that we're having don't necessarily represent any change of anything that's taking place. He says back in 1900 we had a hurricane that killed 8,000 people. And then he went on to quote some other real bad incidents that have taken place. And if we look at some of the incidents that have taken place in the past and compare them to the incidents that are taking place right now, we might think that the incidents that are taking place today does not represent the fact that we're at the end of time. But when we start looking at these things in the light of the way God looks at things, we recognize that, brothers and sisters, 100 years ago was just a few seconds with the Lord. Are you with me, saints? So what Katrina and Rita and all these other incidents that's taking place, brothers and sisters, this is a sequence of events that's been taking place in the last days. Are you with me, saints? So we have been in the last days for a while, and what we are seeing is a sequence of events, and God intends for you and I to be able to look at these things like he looks at them. We've been in the last days. Right now, brothers and sisters, we're in the last seconds of time. I wrote a little booklet called Minutes to Midnight. I've changed it now to Seconds to Midnight. Brothers and sisters, we are in the last seconds of time.